being nice. I didn't want like the picture to be you holding a Kleenex to your nose.
Oh, that was nice of you. Brothers
Yeah.
and gender resistors, listen, I'm very sick right now. But I wanted to come on to the Comic Book Rundown Presents Rundown Reviews to do this review. Because damn it all, I care about this show too much to not have my shitty score reflected in this shitty movie. All right?
That's what we like to hear.
No COVID will stop me from giving a shit score to a shit movie.
Chuck's rage is going to cure him of COVID throughout this.
I mean, if that happens, that'd be great.
That being said, I do apologize for any coughs or sneezes that I am unable to mute.
This. I'll try to edit it out as much as possible when I do edit this episode, but we'll see.
Into your ear holes. So
yeah,
that's how COVID spreads, Chuck.
We suffer so that you guys don't. How's that?
Yeah, exactly. So we watched Ghostbusters.
Yep, the first one from 1984.
I remember this being a lot better.
Correct. Like, so right off the bat, obviously this is a nostalgia movie for myself and Ron.
Yeah.
I know Chuck, you've seen it because I know last week when we mentioned it, you said you hated this movie. And obviously
this movie start to finish.
Oh, okay.
I've only ever seen parts that I accidentally catch on Comedy Central at like 2 a.m.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's the other thing. So I think because Comedy Central, ABC Family during Halloween or Freeform, whatever the hell it's called nowadays, like they would play this movie constantly. This movie was on all the time. So I saw this movie so many times. And it's fine for me. Like it's fine. Like it's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie. It's also not a movie that is for kids. And apparently in 1984, a shit ton of kids saw this movie. Because they're apparently
all my friends that I grew up with who are like a year or two, a couple years older than me, all love this movie because they saw it with kids.
Yeah, I mean, I loved this movie until I just rewatched it because, damn.
Yeah, and maybe it's because we watch these movies now with a critical eye, but even the movies that we love, we try and find some bad things with them. But we're trying to reach for some stuff. This one, right off the bat,
Venkman is a creepy douchebag.
I mean, first off, right off the bat, collectively, fuck Bill Murray.
Yes, 100%.
Bill Murray's not a good person outside of this movie. And in this movie, it shows how easy it is for him to be a bad person because I think he's just playing Bill Murray in this movie.
I actually do have him as actor playing himself, so
he kind of is. Actually, a lot of them were because according to IMDb, and a little bit because I watched the movies that made us earlier today for Ghostbusters, they ad-libbed so much of this movie, mainly because when the movie got greenlit in March of '83, they had until June of '84 to release it. So they barely had a year to write the script, get all the special effects, or get the storyboards out, basically make a movie in a year, which is possible. But they were on the wire. Apparently when they had the scripts, Ivan Reitman, Harold Ramis, and Dan Aykroyd went to a beach house and they sat there for 2 weeks writing the script out. And apparently getting high as fuck.
That sounds about right.
Tracks for all them. To the point where they had apparently all these ideas for this movie, but didn't have connectivity to those ideas. The Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. They had no idea how that was going to work until Sigourney Weaver came on board. When she said something about how she wanted to play a dog. Yeah. Which, Ivan Reitman's okay, we can make that happen. And she apparently got up on the couch and did a dog pose and some barking or growling or something.
Oh, I'm sure she did a dog pose. Oh, wait, what?
Anyway, this is fresh off of
not my sweet Sigourney. Not in this.
This is fresh off of Alien. So
she's been on record that Bill Murray was an absolute fucking disaster.
Oh yeah.
and terror.
You can tell just watching the scenes they have together, because
they have chemistry, but yes, it's bad. It's not great.
But yeah, I would say it's not good chemistry. It's she's creeped out by him, but she's doing her best to not show it.
That kiss at the end really shows it, because she literally backs up and then is like, "Oh, fuck us, right? We're doing a scene. I have to."
Apparently, Bill Murray also was very flaky before they started filming. Like everybody, the whole cast crew, like a couple days before, were on set, getting to know each other, getting familiar with everything. Bill Murray was in Paris. Didn't know where he was, just kind of wasn't on set. And apparently, day of shooting, he did show up. But according to Ivan Reitman, when he did Stripes and what was the other one? Whatever other movie he did that Murray was in with Ivan directing, he would just not show up to set at times, and he would come when he wanted to come. According to what I saw and read, that didn't happen a lot here, but it was a lot of those things where Bill Murray just came and went on his own time. So they kind of had to film around that, which that just kind of goes to show. I mean, I'm not saying, Bill Murray is kind of a piece of shit, but like we all didn't know that when this stuff was being made. Yeah. That's why we have the nostalgia of it being good back in the day. And we liked Bill Murray in the 80s and 90s, and 70s with Saturday Night Live and all that.
Yeah, I think I always avoided this movie because I never liked Bill Murray because he played the same character, which was I'm too funny to be here, like vibe or something. So yeah. I never gave this movie a chance. Granted, if you take Bill Murray out of it, this isn't a perfectly fine movie, I believe would be the catchphrase. But he knocks a lot of this down for me because like he isn't even a believable character in this fucking movie.
Yeah. It was originally Venkman was originally supposed to be Jim Belushi.
But obviously
Belushi he died before this. Dan Aykroyd was writing the script when Belushi passed away, and he was writing Venkman for Belushi, which they still had a Belushi homage in the movie. Slimer was supposed to be the homage to Belushi, mainly his character of Animal House. So it works. It's fine.
Yeah, if you squint your eyes and use your imagination, I could see. Well,
so here's the thing. So the guy who sculpted Slimer, he had I think he said 12 different molds of Slimer. And the night before they were going to start filming, he got told to make it look more like Belushi. And he's like, okay, I'll try. And so he didn't do anything and brought it in the next day. It's like, yeah, it looks just like him. Good job. It's like, what the? Really? Okay. Got away with it, I guess.
Poor Belushi. Okay.
Yeah, man, he would have been great because it would have been Dan Aykroyd as Spangler, Jim Belushi, or is it John Belushi or Jim Belushi? Who?
John Belushi.
John Belushi. Sorry, Jim Belushi is the one that's still alive, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So John Belushi. So I apologize for saying Jim earlier. As Venkman, and then Eddie Murphy as Winston. That was supposed to be happening. And
I am glad that they had Ernie Hudson, if I'm being honest.
So Winston was going to have a bigger role. And Eddie Murphy had to pass on it because he was doing Beverly Hills Cop. I think he'd already signed on for that. So when Ernie Hudson came in, he was expecting this bigger role. The second or third draft of the script they actually shot, they cut down Winston's role to what it is to give Bill Murray more screen time, which I think they should not have done.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, what was the point of Winston's character really? To reveal that it was
going to be a bigger character.
Well, a plot to the end of times, because like otherwise his character lifts right up out of this ultimately.
So he was supposed to be, and apparently they did touch on his backstory in real Ghostbusters. Like they took the elements that they had here originally and moved it into the real Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. It's the only Ghostbusters I actually like.
The real Ghostbusters is an amazing show. And if we did, TV shows on here, which maybe in the future we'll do TV shows.
Go back to doing it.
Maybe. Like the character of Winston was supposed to be, he was a former Army, not Ranger, Army sergeant or something like that. He was in the military. He served in the military or something like that at some point in time. He was a construction worker. He had medical background. He had a couple other things. It's like he rounded out a good supporting character for the team. Like if they were to get hurt or if they needed like direction, he was going to be a bigger deal. And then they cut all that back to make him the nobody that he was, which sucks because I love Ernie Hudson. His character in the second one especially is a lot better because they were able to write him a little bit better. But yeah, he should have had a bigger role in this, and I'm kind of sad he didn't.
He felt like the token black guy.
He did, yeah, exactly.
They're like, oh, we have to put one in. So
yeah. I can mark that off my notes since Chuck brought it up.
Yeah, because I mean, other than we did get another black guy with a speaking role, Reginald Dell Johnson, who is the only good cop ever. He was the police officer that let them out of the jail cell.
Yep, Carl Winslow.
Literally the only good cop. I know a cab, but still the only good cop. Look, he helped John McClane out. He's a good cop.
Who is another bad cop.
Yeah, but
to be fair,
he's a terrible cop.
To be fair.
There's an episode of Family Matters where he actually does hold crooked cops like accountable for their actions.
Yep,
that's true. Actually, I remember that. All right, he gets a pass.
He's the only.
He's the
cop.
only guy. He's the only.
Hey,
everybody gets one.
Here on this show, we have made it canon that Carl Winslow is the only good cop.
Carl Winslow is the only good cop. There's only ever one. Jesse Ventura got a pass for using a hard F-bomb. We'll give Carl Winslow a pass here. That's the one passes that we'll pass out.
Yeah. Yep. So the very beginning, we've got Venkman doing those tests, and he keeps shocking the one guy because
he's using his authority as a professor at this institute, to find chicks to hit on.
Basically,
and
college girls at that, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like what, 50 in this movie?
I think he was like in his 30s.
Was he really? Ew.
I think so. Yeah, because he was I want to say in his 20s during Saturday Night Live. All of them were.
He just looks old as fuck, I guess. I don't know.
Well, again, this is also an 80s
No,
movie.
but look, you look at Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd looks like he's in his like maybe late 20s, early 30s. You look at Bill Murray, and he looks like he is in his 40s, pushing 50 with a hair dye.
Yeah, he 100% looks like one of the older professors who uncomfortably hits on students allegedly.
he 100% does.
Yeah, and tells them to smoke.
All right. More. So Bill Murray was born in 1950.
Oh, Simon says that he looks old because he's got the frowny dog face.
Well, there's that.
Oh, like Droopy Dog?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So he was born in 1950. So this movie, he would have been 33 when they made it.
That's only 3 years younger than me. That's disgusting because I couldn't imagine hitting on my college kids that I work with. Like they're children. That's
right. Exactly.
Yep.
Even if they were like in a master's or doctorate program, it's so gross. I don't know.
It's because you are an authority figure of like the non normal proportions. You're a teacher. Like it's weird.
Yeah. But basically, I was getting at that he shocked the guy so much that he left, and he basically said, you can keep your $5. And I'm like, I wonder how much that is in today's money. It's only $15. The dollar has not really gone up in 40 years. That's not great.
To be fair, they would still probably only pay him $5.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most like college tests like that are like you get like $1 to do it.
Ew,
You
fuck that.
you get credit. You get class credit or
yeah. Except for you have, as I can attest, just to get class credit to do an internship, you have to jump through so many fucking like paperwork nonsense, red tape just to get signed off for 2 credits.
Really? That's
Yeah.
stupid.
I have a student right now that's trying to do credit, and there's 6 different people that have to sign off on it before they can actually register it and get the credit for it. 6 people.
Why?
Get 2 credits. It's so stupid.
What the?
I don't know. I can't figure it out. And then there's like a crazy assignment attached with it where they have to do weekly logs and stuff. It's like, I don't know.
I don't think I'd want to do all that just to get the credit.
Yeah, just to do
Oh,
2
shit.
credits or even 1 credit. That's so dumb. Like, I don't know. It's college. Man.
So I don't know if you guys know it, and this will help you out with your Spawn Cape continuum later on. When the first time we see Sigourney Weaver's character, the Dana, they're up on top of the building, and you've got the gargoyle in the picture. Do you guys see that the cars are driving through you can see the cars driving on the road through the gargoyle? You could see the lines of the road through the gargoyle. Like the CGI in this was. Let me rephrase that. Some of the CGI in this was bad because there were some scenes with like the ghosts that looked good.
Yeah, the ghost looked really good. That's where
it's because the ghosts were supposed to be transparent.
Yeah, the gargoyle on top hanging off the building, not so much.
I'll bet what happened was they used obviously they're using the same programming for it, but they couldn't get it like dark enough to not show through.
It's possible.
But yeah. So the commercial that they have.
I just find it weird that nobody questioned this giant building in the middle of New York City. That definitely looks like it would be the leader of some type of like the headquarters of some type of henchman like monstrosity.
Evil Sumerian.
Listen, nobody questioned it because the price to live there was probably fucking outrageous, and everybody was making money off of it that mattered. So
yeah, but like nothing like that looks like that in New York City. Like the top of that looked absolutely fucking ridiculous. And nobody questioned it.
What about the Chrysler building?
Chrysler building doesn't look that like looks like a building. It doesn't look like an.
What about those ornaments they tried to add like 20 years ago to the Twin Towers?
The planes?
Yeah, well,
Too soon? No.
Also,
there's a part of me that still can't make jokes. I don't know why.
Because you live in New York. We don't. We can make the jokes.
As a New Yorker, do you guys all really drive that terribly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Regularly. Yep.
All right.
Fuck you. Fuck Long Island specifically. Yeah.
So I love it. But speaking of driving, they got the Ecto 1 up and running pretty quickly.
I will say the Ecto 1 is that is a cool car.
Oh, I love it. It's a wonderful. But
so illegal, can't have sirens on your vehicle if you're not an emergency response vehicle, and they're definitely a private practice. So,
yeah, 100%. But yeah, you're all right. It does look cool, but the fact that they got it ready in a day with the paint and like everything in there, just because he's listing off all the things it needs, which is definitely not going to be something that you can get done.
I'm not certain that they replaced everything that needed to be replaced on it, though.
Well, and they probably did over time when they got the money, but then again, they were always busy with, getting Ghost, which also, so because there really wasn't a lot of things dying in this, I didn't really have a kill. I mean, I did. I had 1 kill for the kill count, that being the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But I decided to do a ghost count instead. How many ghosts we actually see? You only see 6 ghosts in a movie called Ghostbusters, because the montage they had wasn't them catching the ghost. It was them already having the ghost trapped and running around with it. And I brought this up to Emily, and she's like, "Yeah, you saw them catch the one ghost. They don't need to catch anymore. They already did this. Like, we got a fun little,
that's fair.
feisty little argument." But
did you count the gargoyles coming to life as ghosts?
I did not. The two dogs, no.
Yeah, the turd clay monsters, because that's what they looked like. They were.
That's kind of what they were. It was stop motion.
Yeah,
play
I mean,
stuff.
you could tell.
Yeah, I really appreciated the part where the first one comes to life in the apartment. They had to keep justifying it breaking through like a wall or floor so they could hide the back half of the body because it was a puppet.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really. I thought that was really fun.
So the part when they're at the when Rick Moranis is at the restaurant, like beating on the window, and everybody's just like, "Oh yes, look at the peasant being attacked by the demonic animal. Let's go back to our dinner."
I've got high society not caring about the poor man. That's what I got written down. Because it was like he bangs on the window trying to get their attention, and they ignore him. Well, they look at him for a second, and then when he like starts sliding down, they go back to their dinner. Like they should have seen the demon dog attacking him, right? Like unless, but they had to have because the party goers saw it. So in theory, they should have seen it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They looked out there, they saw it, and they're just like, "Eh," and then they went back to their
problem, basically.
Yeah. So I just realized I got to mark off a bunch of my notes like as soon as we started this because most of my notes are something along the lines of Venkman's a dickbag, douchebag, terrible person. Nobody seemed to have liked working with Bill Murray. Like that's 90% of my notes on here.
Yeah, well, and that's so. Aykroyd obviously vouched for him. Like they came up together in Second City, SNL. Harold Ramis worked with him in Stripes. So like these guys are friends. They were working together. And I think I told you this during D&D today, Ron. A giant portion of this movie was ad-libbed. They were doing 2 or 3 different takes,
which is great because some of it was great. Like I actually enjoyed like Dan Aykroyd in every scene because Dan Aykroyd's funny, and Simon put down his.
I'll say Harold Ramis made a decision to not smile the entire time as Egon, and it worked. It was great.
Simon said that Rick Moranis was the best actor in the movie, which I will give him some props for that because he was great.
Apparently, John Candy was up for that role first. They actually storyboarded it with John Candy as that, but he wanted to take the character of Tully as being having like a German accent and having a couple like Doberman dogs. Yeah. They're like, no, let's not do that. And so they got Rick Moranis. And he's like, yeah, I want to play as like a nerdy guy. And I mean, it worked.
His character was perfect. From Little Shop of Horrors. That's all he was.
See, I've never actually seen that all the way through. I need to watch
it.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of it, to like get the idea. And my takeaway was it's the same character. He's a little less of a buffoon.
There we go. That's what kind of figured he was a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
I also want to say that this building, like, not only is this building a hotspot for paranormal activity, but apparently it is terrible with their doors. Like, because Rick Moranis kept getting locked out of his room constantly.
I think that's just stupidity.
I mean, it was for the joke, yes.
I mean, yeah.
But, like, I don't know.
Oh, so, completely off subject, but Annie Potts in this movie is banging hot.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she was really hot.
She was she came back for
available is really hot to me, and she seemed very emotionally unavailable. So
who's that? Oh, never mind. Yep.
There was also supposed to be
shout out to Chuck, Texas. Oh,
yep. There was also supposed to be a subplot of her and Egon as being a romantic interest.
See, I don't think a romantic interest would have been accurate. I think it would have been more along the lines of his would have been a purely academic interest in the romantic.
Well, like I said, that was supposed to be in there, but they kind of went away from it. They apparently explored it more in real Ghostbusters a little bit. But like I never really got that. Like obviously the one scene when she is at the desk and he comes up, excuse me,
from
the
underneath
desk.
the desk.
Yeah. Like that was kind of
or like when he's when they're taking Rick Moranis' character in, and she's like, "Oh, you're such a humanitarian. You're such a wonderful guy."
right. Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't think he's human. Like, I love the fact that she's always trying to flirt with him, and he just doesn't catch on to it.
Because that's Spangler.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Egon. It works.
It's a great character.
Which I apologize. I think I called Dan Aykroyd Spangler earlier, and that was whatever the heck his character was.
You're all right.
Ray Stantz. There we go.
So, the Ghostbusters are just ghost cops. Shoot in prison. No one asks questions.
Yep. Yeah, because like Slimer is a perfect example of somebody who was just there before. The concierge guy even said, "Oh yeah, we have some flare-ups every now and then, but it's been quiet."
He was talking about his herpes.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, like Slimer was just a nothing, and he was just kind of there messing around. And all of a sudden, these three guys come in with these nuclear reactors and start attacking him.
So what the hell is it with all these movies and all of the smoking? Sorry, excuse me, the smoking.
80s,
like,
man.
I guess
a PG movie, and
yeah,
it's like kids were like going to this, and it's just everybody smoking a cigarette, looking cool.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah,
for no plot reason, even like it's just everybody just puffing on a cigarette.
Like I was waiting for them to like flash what brand it was, but they never do.
No, not that I'm aware of. Not that I saw.
I didn't see it, which I thought was weird because I figured that's what they were running up towards. Was like, oh yeah, menthol or something like that. Like I don't know.
You bring that up. Apparently, in the second movie, which we'll get to in time, they actually cut a lot of that out. They took out a lot of the smoking because this movie was supposed to be made for adults. Like, there's a scene where Dan Aykroyd's character Ray gets a blowjob from a ghost, which when I was younger, never understood. Like, I never knew what that was. Never. Went over my head.
You thought that was Sigourney Weaver, and he was having a dream.
See, I knew it was something sexual because my dad started laughing when he saw that scene. So I was like, "Oh, it's got to be something that has to do with sex."
But yeah, like this, they made the second movie more for kids, because they knew families were going to see this movie, so they wanted to get a better, movie for that audience. And fine, like I'm still not. The second movie, when we get to it, like I still don't like it as much as I like this one, but I find it interesting, that because apparently the guy who played Peck, the lawyer lawyer, whatever.
He was EPA.
Thank you. Sorry. The actor, like a year after, or maybe even like months after, he'd be walking down the street and there was a school bus that would drive by and all the kids would yell at him, "Hey, Dickless!" Kids were yelling at him at him.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Which bringing up the mayor scene, I laughed at that because Venkman is speaking to the mayor in his language, the voters, and the church approves. So makes total sense.
Yep.
Ghostbusters have terrible aim. I realize that they're shooting, ion cannons or whatever the fuck they are, but like they couldn't, zero those things in a little bit. They're just blasting through everything, around everything. Like,
yeah, I feel like it gets like in the newer ones, either the technology had been tweaked so that's a little bit better, and they actually have a better aim with it. But you're right. Like this first one is just everywhere. It's terrible.
I know in the all-girl Ghostbusters from like 2014 or 16 or whatever, like they actually have a scene where they talk about like learning how to use them.
They show it. They actually do it.
Yeah. But in this one, they just kind of, it's like, hey, what if we just go out and, so anyways, I start blasting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There were some jokes I really did appreciate when they were like, "Yeah, we've never actually tested this. I'll be fine. All right, power."
And they flipped it on in the elevator, and they both like
kind of
stepped to the
leaned
side.
away from it. Like, I did enjoy that a little bit. There was some good stuff in there.
Yeah, and again, because these guys come from a comedy background, and they work well together. It's great. But no, like the movie itself, like I said, while I still enjoy it, looking at it now with the knowledge we have, and kind of
and a broader
the
perspective of the
eyes,
world.
Yeah, like this is that beginning part alone is not great.
Well, and any scene where Venkman is around a woman is just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's horny. He's just a horny guy, and apparently cannot get his rocks off.
Simon was like, I am actually kind of surprised that, his character didn't bang the demon, because, giving him morals just seems like out of character.
Well, I think that was the one scene that he actually followed the script, because he probably would have.
Probably because Sigourney Weaver's like, if you touch me, I'll kill you. Short man.
100%. Although forever now, rent free in my brain, Sigourney Weaver saying "I want you in me" will just be in there like forever now. She was way hotter in this than she was in Aliens 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been the crazy makeup and the wild hair, but
yeah, probably. Still got no ass though.
No,
as Ron had pointed out previously, she has minus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. My last note is why didn't they use the elevator when they were going to?
Because the power was out.
Was the power out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So,
wait,
Ray
why are all the lights on?
Listen, we don't know. But Ray makes a comment that he went to Camp Wakanda. And I don't know if that was like a Black Panther reference from like the comics, or if it was just a coincidence of naming.
Might just been a coincidence.
But
this 84. When did Black Panther become a character?
I don't know.
Right?
You'll have to check because
I'm looking right now.
Chuck and I can't.
Black Panther.
I feel like it'd be weird if that was a reference, because I don't think mainstream would have had any idea what that actually meant.
But see, that's why it would have been even funnier, because at the time nobody would have gotten the joke. So, and maybe
character came out first appearance was 1966. So,
and see, that would have been right around the time these guys would have been kids. So,
yeah,
it could be. Also, the commercial that they have for the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I get it that they were making it to where it's supposed to be like a bad commercial, but it was still better than the commercial that my job has. So,
okay.
One of the guys that I work with looked it up one time. Well, he had looked them up on something and saw that they had the commercials that were made for before the news in the mornings on the weekdays,
Yeah.
From 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, where they have that little shitty commercial thing, and it is absolutely terrible. And yeah.
Speaking of the commercial, apparently that's how Ray Parker Jr. came up with the song, because he apparently had 2 days to come up with a song, and he couldn't think of any way to have the Ghostbusters song. He apparently hated saying Ghostbusters. So when it got to the point of who are you gonna call on the commercial, he's like, who are you gonna call? And then he had, what did it say? His girlfriend or wife at the time, the sister, and a couple other friends. They're the ones that say Ghostbusters, so he never has to in the song.
Nice.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. He never says it.
He apparently hated that, which
is wild, because that dude then makes a fucking career life off that song and still sings it to this day.
He does.
Yeah.
Funny enough, though, apparently this movie was really close to not being called Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, the IP was, I'm not gonna say tied up, but there was a TV show from the 60s, I think, that was called Ghostbusters. And so the rights was at whatever studio. I want to say Universal at the time.
Was it a UK show?
I think so. Again, it was I saw it in the notes, but also they talked about it mainly on the movies that made us. I mean, it was under Universal, so maybe not.
Oh, interesting.
Either way, what ended up happening? So they originally said were telling everybody here that they were shooting scenes twice. One where they said Ghostbusters, and one where they said Ghost Breakers. It got to the point where right in front of the final battle, like when the Ghostbusters come in, and you got the crowd chanting Ghostbusters, that Reitman was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing a second take of this. It's just going to be Ghostbusters from here on out. It worked out that the guy who greenlit Ghostbusters originally, I can't remember his name, but for what was this? This was Columbia. He was at Columbia at the time. Apparently, Columbia had just gotten bought out by Coca-Cola, and they didn't like the fact this movie was getting made, and for $25 million. Apparently, $25 million was too high of a price, even though it made so much more. But eventually, the guy, the head CEO, whatever his name was, he got let go. Ended up going over to Universal and being over there. So when they were still trying to get the rights to use Ghostbusters, he was now in a position to be like, yeah, they can use it. They go ahead. And it just kind of serendipitous that it happened that way. Yeah, just fun little things.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The scientific terms and stuff that they use in all old movies will never cease to be funny to me. When they try to sound like super sciencey and like they say like random words and like it's comical.
Yeah.
At the time, I wonder if it really felt like they knew what they were talking about.
Well, and Dan Aykroyd comes from a background of paranormal research. Like that's actually something that his family has done for generations. So that's kind of why he wrote this movie. He kind of wanted to get some of that out.
That's awesome.
And he still to this day has a couple different paranormal. He's written a couple books. He's I'm not gonna say gone a little crazy with it, but he's a little crazy with some of it. But yeah, he's got that paranormal background. So a lot of those words, scientific words, are real. Maybe not all of them, but to the point where, I mean, it's stuff that he's probably said at some point in time.
Let's see. My only other notes are when they are at the end of the movie when they're panning through everybody surrounding the building and they've got all the people praying and stuff of different religions and shit.
Yeah,
that was pretty humorous. And the dickless Peck. I hate that dude's face so much. He is on my list, and not even from this movie. It's from Biodome.
That's fair. Which is after this movie.
Yeah.
I know that he looks nothing like the person, but he kind of reminds me of the guy from Toxic Avenger who runs Apocalypse Inc.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can kind of see it.
It's something in the eyes. I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah, but that's all my notes.
Yeah, that's all I got. So, like I said, I already said the kill count. We had one kill with I guess I did kind of forget to say that when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man gets destroyed and all of the marshmallow fluff goes everywhere, apparently, if you if you saw, Bill Murray didn't have a lot on him.
Yeah, he like was barely covered.
Yeah, that apparently pissed off a lot of people. Shocker, I know. Yeah. So, and apparently that was all shaving cream too.
Yeah, you could tell it was shaving cream.
It definitely didn't look like Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Marshmallow fluff does not flow unless it's really, really warm.
Which, I mean, it was on fire, so yeah.
It.
Sure, but even then it doesn't flow like that.
Yeah, if it was that hot, it also would have burned them like
right, exactly
through their bodies like lava.
Then it's still only been one kill.
That's
true.
Legit.
It technically would have been one kill. Well, two. They killed Stay Puft. That's the one shot, and Stay Puft exploding onto them is a different shot.
I'll agree to that.
Okay,
but
fine.
Also, how did Peck not die when he got covered in Stay Puft jizz? Because it was
giant,
probably like a
giant arm, basically.
Like the whole load.
How did they get Stay Puft to sign on to that?
Stay Puft, it was a fake. It was that wasn't real.
Yeah,
it became real after this movie.
Yeah,
really? Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was a real because I've always known it to exist.
Because
that's because it was before you were born. Yeah, this movie came out way before you were born. It was the year I was born.
I realize that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's how. That's why. All right, so yeah, there's that. Ron, bingo.
Misogyny, unexplainable science, product placement, government interference, comic logic, montage, actor plays self, sexual innuendo, and hero kills.
Oh, you're so close.
I know.
So close to 2.
Because I don't think there was a Wilhelm in this one, was there?
I didn't hear it, and for that reason, my ears have become attuned to the Wilhelm scream because I catch it in the most random things anymore. Weird. I heard it in I think Conjuring not too long ago. I think it was in Conjuring. It was in some random movie where I didn't expect it to be in, and I'm like, what the heck? So, anyway. All right,
Cape.
Oh, this movie was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It does not hold up at all. This is like a 1 out of 2 Spawn Capes. Because, the claymation even looks terrible. We've seen better. We've seen better.
Previously better.
Right. This is 84. We just had Star Wars.
We just had Terminator.
We had Terminator, yeah.
This
Aliens.
was awful.
Predator. Oh.
We've had a better... this is 84. We just had a bunch from 77 to 83, with a ton better CGI, a ton better effects. So
we could have gotten people in suits, in dog suits. Sigourney Weaver herself could have been in a dog suit and done better than that.
Probably.
She does hit quite the dog pose when she's transforming into.
She does.
Yeah,
she knows that dog pose.
She was like, "I'm doing this. I'm gonna be in this position."
I told you she jumped up on a chair and did that.
Yeah, they filmed it and they used it in the movie. Shit.
Good lord.
So, alrighty.
Chuck.
On to the score. Out of 10.
All right. Is this a Ghostbusters movie? Yeah, it's a Ghostbusters movie. I understand why people like this. I think if I saw this when I was a kid and I could tolerate Bill Murray, I probably would have really enjoyed this a lot. Some of the special effects are pretty solid. The ghost stuff is good.
That librarian was great.
Yeah, Slimer is a cool character. He's a cool ghost who gets better when the real Ghostbusters comes out.
Which that's actually where they name him, because apparently in this movie they were calling him. They didn't call him but the crew called him Onion Head. Yeah, because apparently he smelled like an onion.
Okay, but in this movie, Slimer is not obviously it's not his name. It is a class of ghosts that they name off.
Correct.
True.
But he gets the name Slimer in Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Chuck.
Their pet.
That's right. I mean, look, this movie has to score at least a little bit high because this is the reason why we get Ecto Cooler, which is my favorite drink from being a kid. I have an Ecto Cooler tattoo on my leg. That's how much I loved Ecto Cooler. Not because of Ghostbusters, because of Ecto Cooler.
Yep.
That being said, Bill Murray is an insufferable mark for himself. This movie is rough to watch. None of the jokes age very well. I'm going to say And for an hour and 45 minutes, I struggled to get through this.
I fell asleep watching it last night, and I almost fell asleep again watching it this afternoon.
I was regularly picking up my phone because I was bored.
Yeah, Simon told me, he's like, hey, shouldn't you put your phone down to watch the rest of this movie? And I'm like, I guess.
See, I was picking it up, but also because I've seen this so many times, I knew what was coming.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but like,
Not to disagree with both of you that it wasn't boring, but anyway.
That being said, I also had to pay for this, so that also knocked off a quarter of a score.
Yeah, that really upset me because it was on streaming last month.
Yeah,
it was on Hulu. You just had to watch it with ads.
No, I could only get it. I only had the access to it if I had paid for the premium subscription, which I don't.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I have the DVD. I watched it on DVD, but you know.
Yeah, I bought it digitally like 2-3 months ago.
That's smart.
I keep telling you, Chuck, anytime that you don't have a movie, you let me know first, and we can watch it together through the phone, okay?
That's true. I also cleaned up my accounts, so now I have everything kind of bundled together, and I'm hopefully paying less.
Smart. Yeah, you talked about that.
Yeah. That being said, I'm gonna say 4.4.
Okay. You know, that's respectable considering that you hate this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I still found good parts. I did find my only other gripe is what's his nuts from Little Shop of Horrors did start to wear on me a little bit. The joke,
Rick Moranis.
Yeah, like the joke was getting old and it was just becoming longer in the movie, and I was tired of it.
He was also not really much of a horn dog, but like he apparently had a very sick sense for Dana anytime she would be near his door.
I think he could hear the elevator from his apartment. Because he walks out there every time she comes like from the elevator that's over there.
But he also walked out there when Venkman walked out of her apartment.
True.
So I think it's just
maybe he's just a creep.
I think it's just a creep.
Yeah, I think it's just creepy.
Yeah,
that's fair.
All right, Ron.
All right, so this movie does have nostalgia for me because I've been watching this since I was a kid. But also Bill Murray's character in this is just dog shit, and like for all the jokes that he tells, maybe a quarter of them are okay, and maybe like 10% of them actually made me laugh. But he's pretty insufferable throughout the movie, and I don't know. It wasn't what I remember it being, which really hurt the nostalgia for it. And it like I told you yesterday or this morning. It was boring. Like it just felt boring to me. And I have a lot of movies that I have watched multiple times that I will still sit there and watch multiple times because they're good movies. And this just wasn't doing it for me. I mean, would I watch it again? Yeah. I mean, obviously, but like, it's not really high on the list. I'm gonna say 5.13. What about you, Joey?
So I'm right there with you. It's a movie I've seen so many times that I've got no issue watching it again. And like I was saying earlier, even though coming at it with the mindset we have now of Bill Murray being a complete piece of shit, I still like this movie. Nostalgia does push it up there. There's a lot of good parts. Dan Aykroyd's great. Harold Ramis is great. Sigourney Weaver's great. Annie Potts is great. Rick Moranis is great. Like, the fact that Bill Murray is a piece of shit, I don't want to discredit the rest of the cast in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot Ernie Hudson. I can't forget Ernie Hudson. Like, he's amazing. And the movie itself, I've watched it since I was a kid, so it's a fun movie, and because it's a fun, ghost movie, even though there's only 5-6 ghosts in this entire movie, like it's still one that if somebody wants to watch it, I put it on and watch it with them. I still enjoy this movie to this day. So I'm gonna give it a 7.75. Yeah, it's high up there, and
I mean,
because
I do have a pair of underwear that says "Bustin' makes me feel good" with Stay Puft on the back of them. So
nice. Yeah. So I don't know. Like it's a fun movie. It's not the best movie, and I know it's going to be a while before we get to any of the other ones. But like the ones with all of the whole female cast, I think I like that one just a little bit better than this one. That one's a good movie. And then Afterlife, it's another good movie that wraps up, you know, everything that happened in these two. Um, but that being said, we get a combined score of 5.76, which drops it in at number 59 out of 117 movies. It is just behind Batman Returns and just above League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So not a terrible spot.
That's not. I think
I feel-
I like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen better.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it could have gone lower, if I'm being honest.
yeah, yeah, it would have gone lower, but somebody gave it a 7.75.
Look, man, the rest of the cast is great. Just because Bill
That's
Murray's
fair.
piece of shit.
That's fair.
The big thing for like Sigourney Weaver, the reason why she wanted to do this role is because she has a comedy background and she wanted to actually do some comedy. Because at this point, she has done one Alien movie. I think she had just finished up Alien, the first one, and because Aliens came out in '86, so like she has been known as a badass right now, which well deserved. But yeah, so she wanted to kind of do some comedy stuff.
This was her second movie?
No, just this was her right after Alien, when she became popular with being a female lead
Action.
badass.
Yeah.
This was the movie after there, I believe.
This is the movie she chose. Okay.
I mean,
She wanted to be a dog, man.
Well, I mean,
be a dog.
it's not her fault. It's 100% Bill Murray's fault, but it's fine.
Correct.
All right, Chuck, where can they find you at, bud?
Hey, you know where you can find me? Patreon.com/professionalcasual. As little as $1 supports the network, but what you want to hit is that 301 tier that supports this show directly. Plus, it gets you access to that hot Discord. Jump in there, chat it up with like-minded people just like you and me and Ron and Joe. We'll talk about how much you hate me. That's fine. That's what pretty much happens in the Lady Showdown chat anymore. So just head over there, chat it up, hang out, and support this show. Ronald, I'm going to cough.
Okay.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game. And obviously, you can find me here where this great podcast is sold. Joey?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Threads at Comic Book Rundown. You can email us, comicrundown@gmail.com, rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice. If you do, we'll read an upcoming episode. We've got merch over on Redbubble and TeePublic with merch, new stuff coming periodically. I got some new stuff up there right now. We're going to get some more stuff up there when Ron gets done drawing his stuff, whenever that will be. You're working on it.
Sorry, I've been a little busy.
That's fair. I mean, look, I'm going to have those pages forever, so it's fine. And our song was done by Dr. Father Cam. So our next movie, I took you guys' request to heart because it was going to be Ghostbusters 2, but I'm going to push that until next year. We are going to watch Trick or Treat from 2007 because it's Halloween.
Yes.
And that's...
I literally wearing a Trick or Treat shirt right now.
Nice.
That's how much I love this movie.
It's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
This is an anthology movie that I actually like.
Yeah. Well, it's actually
because it doesn't feel like an anthology movie. It's all grouped together in the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still an anthology movie.
I mean, I know it's an anthology, but it's not like your standard like these separate, segregated. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
So yeah. That's
a great little gift for me.
You're welcome. Because you have COVID, I wanted to do something make you feel better.
Part of me that I wanted to be like whatever you said. I'd be like, Joey, I have COVID and you laid this shit on me, but you gave me a good movie, so it's a fair trade.
Look at that.
That works. All right,
He is
everybody.
I
What?
said he is a benevolent,
Yeah.
narrator or curator here.
There you go. I like to make sure my friends are happy. So thank you all for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Fucking somebody else do that.
No, you're fine.
Scooby Doo and
Scooby-Doo.
Dooper Doo.
Yeah, exactly.